All right, y'all, it's that time again. We're going to be talking about the most valuable teams here in Marvel Strike Force for April 2024. As we always do, the last one that we did here was back in February. We're going to be going through about 10 teams here, and then we'll have some honorable mentions or some specific game mode stuff that you got to do in the game here. But one team will not be on this list. I want to address that right now, just in case you're watching this video a month from now, whenever, right? Spider Society will not be on this list. Because as of the time of me recording this video, although they are in the game and technically because you can see them at the bottom of your roster, they are not released as of yet. No offers for these characters and also no events for these characters yet. So they will be on a future list, but they will not be on today's list. All right, so let's actually dive into it. The very first team I want to talk about here is going to be the Extreme X-Men team. Now, this is a team that I use every day. I got to do my mutant raids, right? So I'm going to use this team every single day. I want to highlight, though, that this team should be becoming farmable relatively soon, right? The last team that we got was Superior 6. I feel like it was a couple weeks ago. So this team should be the next one that is in line here to become farmable. But yes, this team is great for your mutant raid nodes. Although that difficulty 3 boss node, man, that is something else. That's a team up node, if I want to call it that. But they're also good in 2 other game modes too, right? Cosmic Crucible, they're great. A lot of players, of course, throw them on defense, but of course, if you want to, you can always use them on offense. Some players may have to go offense with the Extreme X-Men team because you've built them up so big and you don't really have great offensive teams that you could use. So a lot of players will probably use this team on the offensive side as well. And for this new season 7, they can be slotted in on defense, either in room 1 or in room 2 because of the raid rules in room 2, and then in room 1 you have like the Raider Skirmisher that you can also throw them in that room too. Nightcrawler and Gambit individually have really good plug and play value on some other teams as well. I think Nightcrawler in general is probably a top 10 character in Marvel Strike Force, and both two characters that can also be used on Dark Dimension runs for you as well. So great value for this team, of course, because of your raid content that you have to do every single day, but then also some other meaningful content that you need to get done as well. But the next team I want to talk about, also very valuable in a variety of game modes too, and is the Superior 6 team. Now, this is a team that I use mostly every single day. The team was recently farmable a couple weeks ago here, so all the characters now can be farmable, either whether it's in orbs or specifically in stores or nodes. You can go ahead and grab these characters. Now, the previous version of this team, which is the Sinister 6 team, is still also a recommended team for beginner players, right? So all the Superior 6 characters have the Sinister 6 tag, and then this is the whole Sinister 6 roster here. These characters, this is the Sinister 6 teams. A lot of these characters are still recommended for beginner players. Characters like Rhino that you can grab. There's characters, I believe, like with Green Goblin, characters that you can grab pretty early to be able to get some meaningful content done. And you can also unlock Doc Ock pretty early because they have lowered the stars for him. And then you can also you can farm some easy accessible characters to be able to get the unlock for Doc Ock here. So good team. Their main game mode, of course, is Cosmic Crucible, but you can also use them in Alliance War. I've seen Mobile Gamer or a couple people now use characters like Kraven, Vulture, and I think Green Goblin Classic in like the arena format. I haven't done that as of yet, but I know that that's something that I've seen people do. But yeah, primarily your Cosmic Crucible, there's Swiss Army knife there. They can pretty much be anything in Cosmic Crucible. And of course, some of the characters you can also use in Dark Dimension. So I know a lot of people are even right now whoever started Dark Dimension 7 has used Kraven, has used Vulture, and Dark Dimension 6, Kraven and Vulture were recommended characters to bring into Dark Dimension as well. Lizard, so there's a lot of options that you have available with this team here. You also can use the Sinister 6 to unlock Black Cat, right? So if you're looking to do her trial, then you can also use her as well to unlock your legendary Black Cat and get her too. But that's enough. We've talked enough about this team. They're good. Get them, invest, do your damn thing, right? All right, then next we're going to be talking about the Bifrost team. I'm telling you, I'm kind of tired of talking about the Bifrost team, but if we're talking about most valuable, You use this team every single day in your Mystic raids. They're primarily just a raid team though, right? But you have to build them because they're the very first section in your incursion raid. So you gotta build them for that. They probably are the next raid team to be replaced. We're just getting a skill team here in the game. But this is probably the next raid team that's going to be replaced here. But they're kind of a sneaky. Here's the thing. You have to build this team up relatively high in order to be able to do the difficulties in raid. Like right now, we're doing difficulty 3. And I'm thinking about, bringing up these characters to level 100 because that boss though gets really dicey sometimes. So that's probably something that I'm going to do. So because of that, when you have to invest so heavily into a lot of characters, you end up finding some plug and play options available for them, right? Like Vol and Beta Ray Bill are a plug and play option either on offense or on defense in Alliance War. In Room 2 for Season 7, there's the Raid Room. They're probably going to be a team that you can throw on defense in that Raid Room. Sylvie and Loki are 2 characters that I tend to use on a hybrid team to be able to beat Pegasus in Alliance War. So because you kind of got to build these characters up as big as you do, you end up being able to slot them in some areas. Loki team or Team Loki really aren't, there's really no value there I can find for him, but at least these other 4 characters, because I built them up so high, I've been able to find some hybrid options to be able to use those other 4 characters. So that's it. And even last Crucible 2, Vol and Beta Ray were with Valkyrie, Dorm, and Thor Infinity War. Not a phenomenal team, but a team that could trip up some people here on defense in Cosmic Crucible. But that's it. You got to build them. They're going to probably get replaced sometime in the future here, or they're the next team to get replaced in the future. We're just not sure when. So for right now, you got to invest into them. And another team that you have to invest, we talked about Pegasus just recently here, and that is the Pegasus team, right? This is your tech raid team here. This team is essentially Kestrel and friends. But I mean, listen, they're a good team, actually. I think they're not like the best team in the world, but there's always some value that you can use for them, whether it's using some hybrid comps here with like Iron Man Infinity War with Kestrel in Cosmic Crucible, or using Kestrel as a lonesome in Alliance War, or also in Cosmic Crucible. I'm losing Kestrel in Dark Dimension. Actually, this team was really good as an overall full team in Dark Dimension 6. There is value that you can get out of these characters in this full entire team. Priority characters on the team, though, I would say, are Kestrel and Rescue for the team that do really well, and probably Infinity War, Iron Man Infinity War will be the next character. But they are good. I mean, they are a good team. You also can use them in the Goblin Scourge event, the Green Goblin Classic Scourge. I keep on saying Scourge, it's Trials, right? They've changed that now, but yeah, I mean, you can use this team in like the tech section. They're really good. These characters are all farmable too, so easy accessible for a lot of players here. Next, we're gonna keep on the raid train here so that we can then get off the raid train, and we're gonna talk about Hive Mind a little bit here. So you do need this team for that bio section. I really want to talk about Red Goblin, because I think a lot of us initially said, oh man, he doesn't perform as good as Scroll, but in a lot of ways he kind of allows you to now play a little sloppily in some of the nodes. Now, I'm only saying that because I recently, literally like 2 days ago, got lucky and got some shards for him here to be able to get him to get him the 5 stars. So now I'm starting to see where, oh my goodness, like his ult now getting characters into red and be speeding up the team, like that's, thank you, because I wasn't really getting that when he was at 4 stars here, but he's an integral part of this team. They don't do as well without him, but Void Knight is the best plug and play character on this Hive Mind team. But primarily this team is for your bio raids. You need them for that. They're very good there. My only concern with this team is that for plug and play viability, I still think that there's going to be some options to be able to use some of these characters here on offense in Cosmic Crucible outside of raids. My concern, though, is if you're using this full team, at some point in time, they're not going to scale very well, because you need to be able to get characters into red on the opponent side in order for them to be able to kind of get that turn meter going, with Carnage's passive here. So that is a little bit of a concern, but for right now, they are the newer team, or the newer side, even though it's been a month or so here. They are in a newer site. You do need them for your incursion raids, for your bio section. So for that reason, they become one of the most valuable teams. Now, we're going to kind of trickle in some other teams here that we talked about before, but just change how we talk about some of these characters again here. And that is going to be the next one is going to be Secret Defenders. Now, like I said, this is old arena meta. Nobody's really using Doctor Strange for anything anymore. Photon is used on an A-Force war team, but also is still using Cosmic Crucible. Black Cat, still a valuable legendary character. We talked about Black Cat a little bit here. You can use your Sinister Six team to be able to unlock her here. Really, the two characters that I'm getting the most value out of right now is Robbie and is Harlight, which is the reason why you see that I've had level 100 on Robbie here. I'm using them on a hybrid team right now in arena every single day, multiple times a day here to be able to get me some wins and stay top 10 in arena. Same thing with Harlight on defense for me. And sometimes I might use her on offense as well, depending on what the situation is. So these two characters here still are providing me with a ton of value right now in arena, but also these two characters are very valuable for Dark Dimension runs. Them two together is dynamite. I tell you, they are a dynamite team. And even in Dark Dimension 7, once again, Robbie, Harlight were mentioned as options for Dark Dimension. That's something that I got from someone in my alliance here that mentioned that these two together, once again in DD7, were also very good again. So I think they're going to be a mainstay, I think, for probably arena a little bit here, maybe as plug and play options for a little bit, and then maybe once Mephisto comes around, probably not as much anymore, but you're still gonna find value for them in future content. So, and Black Cat being a legendary character still provides some value. Photon still provides some value here. So these four characters, in my opinion, are still very much a part of the meta. So I definitely wanted to talk about them here. Doctor Strange, not as much anymore. Like, a lot of people drop him from the team and then they use other characters. So probably not worth the investment anymore, but at least these three characters here to my left, these three characters here to the left, and then Photon here definitely still provide good value. They're also good in the gamma raids if you really care about that. We're jumping into gamma raids right now, so it's a good thing to talk about. Then next on the list, I wanted to get into Masters of Evil. Once again, if you care about Cosmic Crucible, right, this is a good team to invest in. Ultron is the only character that it's constantly dropped off of the team. The issue though with Ultron is that you still have to invest into him, because you do need him for the Nova trials, because you need Masters of Evil, and then I don't want to talk about X Factor, but the way that they've kind of built these trials now is that you kind of have to build all the teams in order to be able to get all the stars, right? So it kind of sucks. And then there's also Quicksilver that you can use for the Nova trials too. But this team is still an amazing team, although you do drop off Ultron. These four characters together with another additional character, whether it's APOC, whether it's Doom, whether it's Storm, whoever you throw in there, there is sometimes Nova. It doesn't matter. There's still a good Cosmic Crucible team. Now with Cabal coming in, I think that you will start to see players throw in Kang and Titania on the team, but then there's also options of Doom or Skrull or APOC and for Cabal. So I still think that a lot of players will probably end up using Masters of Evil from time to time in Cosmic Crucible, and because you will need to build them out for your Nova trials, potentially pretty decently big enough to be able to get through it, that you will see people start to put more investment into this. People will still be putting investment into this team for that reason, and because of that, because you're building them, you're gonna end up finding plug and play areas. Absorbman, I see him on defense a lot in Alliance War. I even see him on defense sometimes in Cosmic Crucible. So I mean, there's still plug and play value there in Moonstone too. And then a next team I wanted to talk about, which is another Cosmic Crucible team here, is New Warriors. Once again, if you care about Cosmic Crucible, if you're pushing for content like that, then New Warriors is a valuable team, right? They're great in Cosmic Crucible. They're absolutely phenomenal in Cosmic Crucible. The priority characters here are Deathpool, Firestar, Gwenpool, but Cloak is probably the next one that I would recommend, and then Dagger, but you can't really have Cloak and not have Dagger sometimes, although Dagger does get dropped often enough, depending on what sort of like counter you're using. There are times that I do drop Dagger off the team, primarily though, mostly in like season 5 or it was season 5 or Crucible, but still a valuable team. It's still a good, CC team here. Deathpool is needed for Apocalypse, so you kind of have to build her up anyways and get her gear tier 17 in order for you to be able to get your big boy Apocalypse. But they also have the additional value in Alliance War now because of the current season rules in Alliance War, and a lot of players are plugging and playing Gwenpool, plugging and playing Firestar, not even using the full team on defense. They're like plugging and playing characters in Alliance War and using them. So it's kind of interesting, like that the hybrid comps that I see on defense with Gwenpool, Firestar, and Deathpool. It's really interesting actually to watch here. But yeah, good team, great Cosmic Crucible team. They counter a lot of teams there. They have additional value right now in Alliance War, so good investment if you ask me. And then these last sort of 2 teams I wanted to talk about. Since Cabal is right here, I'll talk about Cabal here. As you can see, I'm still waiting to be able to get my leader shards here. The event I believe starts today, so I won't be spending any more cores, but spend a lot of cores to get to 92, so we're close. Iron Patriots event was absolutely terrible, but this is a Cosmic Crucible team. Once again, if you care about Cosmic Crucible, you're going to want to invest into Cabal because it's gonna make you more versatile in the game mode. Also, you're probably gonna lose matchups because your opponent has Cabal built up and ready to go, and they have more options available to beat your teams and get higher efficiency. So once again, if you care about Cosmic Crucible, which is an important game mode for a lot of players, then the Cabal team is going to be a most valuable team as well. And then this next team, this one's a little bit weird for me because I know not a lot of people care about Alliance War, and I do know how to spell, but it's the Out of Time team, and most people probably don't really care about Captain Carter, Captain America, Ghost Rider, or Starbrand, but if I'm not mistaken, you do need Captain Carter and Captain America here for a trial event. So that's you still do need to build them for that because you do need a rebirth team in a particular section. Black Knight is a must invest, right? Because he is such an important integral character. He's the top 10 character right now. He's an integral character for your arena. If you want to push up high and well in your arena shard right now, you got to use Black Knight. The rest of these characters though are primarily war characters, although I will say that Out of Time on defense in Cosmic Crucible has posed a lot of problems for a lot of players. So when you're looking at like value, once again, they do pop up as being a valuable team. If you do care about Cosmic Crucible, you definitely want to build Black Knight for reasons, right? Which we just talked about. But maybe you hold off on Ghost Rider and Starbrand because you can plug and play some other characters in here to replace them to do well in Crucible. Like if you want to throw them on defense with like Red Hulk and another character, then that does work. I do think at least Cosmic Ghost Rider though is an investment that you want to do. But I know a lot of players like myself have done decent enough investment to get good value out of them in Cosmic Crucible. So for that, we're gonna put them on this list. And other honorable mentions are teams like New Avengers that you have to build out for your I'm forgetting which specific trial right now, forgive me. I'll probably pin it in the comments, post it in the comments here to talk about the honorable mentions that you do need. Horseman teams, if you have not built them yet to be able to get your big boy Apocalypse, you're going to need to build out your Horseman teams to get in the gear tier 17, and you're also going to need to get them to ISO Blue 5. Those are teams that you're definitely going to want to get ready and get going if you haven't gotten Big Boy Apocalypse yet, because Big Boy Apocalypse is definitely different than the Apocalypse for sure, and is a Haas. So that is it, Lord guys, for this video. Let me know if you have any particular questions here about anything. Happy to go through and clarify anything here. I will try to make sure and I pin that comment for the other honorable mentions and what they can be used for down in the comments. I just looked at the video. I'm like, oh, we're almost at 20 minutes. So I want to end it now. But listen, appreciate you guys watching the video here. And as always, guys, y'all be blessed and y'all be safe.